Oh yeah, March is here. Yeah, baby. And if you are ready for all of the madness, which is the top 10 free-to-play characters for March of 2020, guys, I think you know what to do.
ValleyFlyin.
Whoa, what is up, Valley Maniacs? ValleyFlyin here. I am back. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a great day, and it is the moment that some of you have been waiting for. Yes, it is a new month, and that means it is time for a new free-to-play top 10 list. Yes, it is the top 10 list for March of 2020 in all of Marvel Strike Force. Now, if this is your first time watching one of these, I do these every single month, and this is not based on the order that I think you should farm these characters in. If you want to see the order that I think some of these characters should be farmed in, if you are going for these legendary characters as quick as possible, make sure you check out my free-to-play farming guide. Now, as I do need to do a quick asterisk to that, because the word is that these Asgardians, all of them are going to become farmable this month. So, with that said, if these Asgardians are farmable, that list is going to change slightly. But as of now, I still stand by the order that I think you should farm these characters on that previous video. So make sure you check out that previous one if you want to see the order that I think you should farm these characters in, based on if your goal is to get these legendary characters as quick as possible. So what is this list? Well, this list has a lot of personal bias. This is based obviously on how great this character is as a whole, the team that they fit into, but a lot of it has to do with my usage over the past month. And I think this is valuable for some players, especially newer players, to see how valuable these characters can be at a late game stage. So a lot of bias involved, and yes, since it is based a lot on my personal usage of these characters, your personal usage of these characters may be very, very different. And your list may be totally different than mine. So if it is, let me know in the comments. But if you guys enjoy this list, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you do want to support the channel, make sure you check out BlueStacks. It is a free way that you could play Marvel Strike Force or any other Android game on your PC. And the channel gets credit and you get to use that on your PC. Plus, if you want to check out some awesome Valley merch, guys, there's a link for that down below. But let's get to this list. All right, guys, so here are the characters that are not eligible. And as you can see, there are some very, very good characters on this list. Now, most of these characters, even if you spend 0 cents on this game, you will still unlock a lot of these characters. And so technically, most of these characters are farmable. So I needed to draw the line somewhere. And where is that line drawn? Well, if they have a node, they are technically free to play in my mind. And if they are available in a store, they're also going to be eligible for this list. Plus, the unique characters, Hulk and Wolverine, they are eligible, but they have not made the list in a few months. And are they going to make it this month? We will have to see, guys. But a couple new additions that I did want to point out. Ironheart was just added to this list. Toad added to this list. Blob added to this list. Red Skull has been on this list for a while. Both of these characters, Red Skull and Ironheart, are currently not available as I am filming this. Plus this guy right here, the Beast. Kind of been in the game for a little while, never really been a playable character, but a lot of his data files has been in the game. So he has been on this not yet farmable list for a while. But pretty much everyone else you can get. A lot of great characters, legendary characters like Phoenix, the legendary Shuri is on there, Black Bolt, one of the best characters in the game, and a lot of great characters, Minerva, Captain Marvel. So the reason they are not on this list is because they don't have a node and they're not available in a store, guys. So let's clear this off because we had a few new additions that are eligible for this list coming up this month, and they are Heimdall, recently added to the Arena store. Actually, I think he was just added last night as of me recording this. So a great character and is very, very important for that Black Bolt unlock, which should be coming up in April. So another great character. What is his name? Graviton. He was just added to the War Store. Very important piece of that AIM team. Does a lot of good things. Is he good enough to get on this list? We will have to see, guys. And we also got Heroes Chapter 7. And with that, 2 new farmable characters in those hero stages. Colossus. Man, he has not been farmable for a while. I am not sure why, but yes, he is finally farmable. And my girl Black Widow has not been farmable since global launch. It is about time. Back in the day, she was one of the best characters on this in the game. How does she stack up in today's meta? We will have to see if she makes the list this month. So let me clear this off and let's get to the list. March 2020 top 10 free to play.
Number 10.
Yes, and coming in at number 10 is my boy. We just talked about him, Graviton. Important piece of that AIM team. Not the most easily farmable. He's probably available in one of the hardest places to farm a character, and that is the war store. But what makes him so great? Well, let's go take a look at his kit. All right, and if we look at his kit, guys, he does a lot of good things. He has a very good basic. It attacks a primary target for 250% damage and a bonus attack of 100 damage per negative effect on the target. And if you are using him on an AIM team with Scientist Supreme, a lot of negative effects potentially on that target. So could be some huge damage move, could be a very hard-hitting basic. All right, his special, Crushing Force, attacking the primary target, adjacent targets for 300% damage, which is good, but he applies too slow, up to a maximum of 5 for primary and adjacent targets. And if Scientist Supreme is an ally, which she should be if you are using Graviton correctly, applying bleed to the primary and adjacent targets. This is a strong move that you can use on turn 1, guys. Singularity is his ultimate, attacking the primary target for 300% damage. Additional 100% damage per negative effect, guys. So yeah, that Scientist Supreme Graviton combo, huge. And then you're applying stun. Turn 1 stun. Powerful move in the game, guys. And his passive, it gets even better. As if that wasn't enough, his passive makes him even better. When the enemy drops below 50%, he's gonna increase the duration of their negative effects by +1. My goodness, all the bleeds, all the slows, potentially the stuns increased. I mean, this is a crazy passive on that AIM team, giving them extra damage, extra health, and giving them even more benefits in war. Now, admittedly, I am not using him too much outside of Blitz and outside of War, but because his kit is so strong, I felt he needed to be on this list. Now, if I was using him a lot more, I think it would be a no-brainer to move up even higher, but because this list is based on a lot of my usage, he does come in at that number 10 spot, but admittedly, he should be a lot higher if you just base this list solely on his kit.
Number 9.
Oh yeah, number 9 is my boy, Pyro. And Pyro has come back into the fold. Why? Well, because he is a great addition to that Brotherhood team. And the Brotherhood was one of the best teams in the game about a year ago, but with the addition of Blob and Toad coming a little more into the meta, and Pyro, his kit is very good. Let's go take a look at Pyro. So if your Brotherhood teams need some big damage, that is where Pyro is going to come into play. Let me talk about his special, because normally this is what you're going to open with. You're going to attack the primary and adjacent targets, 180% damage, applying bleed, 2 bleeds actually for 2 turns, and clearing 2 positive effects from each target. If Magneto's an ally, you're gonna clear all the positive effects from each target with the T4 in there. And yeah, he does a lot. And this Brotherhood team was designed to counter that Fury Coulson Shield team on war defense. Use this Brotherhood team on war offense with Blob and Toad. Man, this is a big move, clearing those positive effects and applying those bleeds. Let's go back and talk about his basic. You're attacking the primary and adjacent targets for 150% damage and also applying bleeds. So yeah, those bleeds, they add up very quickly. Fire crafting is his ultimate. You're going to attack the primary and adjacent targets for 230% damage, applying disrupted for 2 turns. This is a big screw you to shield security if you're using him in that matchup, if you can attack them. But yeah, that disrupted is huge, especially with all the buffs that Shield Fury Coulson team throws around there. If Magneto is an ally, each target has bleed prolonged duration by 1, and he's getting extra focus. When he's attacked, he's getting extra speed bar. Oh, and if Magneto is an ally, which I don't know why he shouldn't be, when an enemy drops below 50%, he is applying heal block. So very solid kit, and has some very good synergy in that full Brotherhood team, guys. But unfortunately, just like Graviton, he is not an easy farm. He is available in one of the hardest to farm stores out there, the war store. So yeah, not only do you have to have good luck to have him pop up, but you have to have those war credits to actually purchase his shards.
Number 8.
Yes, and coming in at number 8 this month is Loki. Important piece of that Asgardian team. He adds a lot of damage with his opening burst with his special. He adds some protection with his passive and his ultimate, guys. Let's go take a look at his kit and see exactly why he is so good. All right, so I'm going to talk about his passive first because that is probably what you're opening with. With the T4 in this, you are applying defense down to the primary target for 2 turns, which is big. On war defense with 4 or more Asgardians, you're also applying taunt to that primary target. So yes, this is part of that meta war defense team, and you are mind controlling 2 enemies with that T4 instead of just 1 to attack the primary target, and the controlled enemies gain plus 25 damage for this attack. That is a strong move, and if that opponent does not have enough health, this could delete that opening opponent, especially if that opponent is surrounded by some high damage individuals. The protection is going to come from this ultimate, which is mirror image. You're applying stealth to himself and all allies except for mirror images for 2 turns. You're going to summon 2 to 3 mirror images, and they're going to get 340% of normal damage, 150% of normal health, and they gain evade. His basic, let's go back to that Eldritch Bolt. It is attacking the primary target for 260% piercing, 50% chance to get evade, and he gets even more protection from his ultimate. The whole Asgardian team is protected because of him. On spawn, gaining 50% speed. Mystic controller allies gain 10% speed bar. You're getting extra resistance, negative resistance to all of the enemies. You're gonna gain 20% focus. Mystic controller allies will gain focus. Same thing with the resistance, but on turn, heal self for 5% of max health. 5% of max health with non-Asgardian ally, and that is just that Asgardian healing. Now, when this character drops below 50% health, gain stealth. When an Asgardian drops below 50% health, gain stealth as well. So this is that protection that it makes that Asgardian team very, very hard to kill. Very, very important passive to make that Asgardian team work very well and give them the protection that they deserve, to let that Asgardian healing kind of catch up to them and heal them, to make it very, very annoying for their enemies. And if you want to farm Loki, not an easy farm, not an early game farm, probably a mid game farm at this point. He's available on Mystic 3-6, guys.
Number 7.
Yes, and at number 7 is my boy Rocket, and for so long he has been one of the best characters in the game. Very, very important in the mid game, arguably one of the more important characters in the mid game. Kind of falls off a little bit once you get to the end game, but I have started using him a lot more, especially in these Greek raids, so he gets a little bump up this month. But what makes him so great? Well, he has a really, really good kit. Let's take a look at it. So when we take a look at this kit, I see a lot of damage. There are a lot of damage. The big move. Let's start with the big move. Even though this is not his opening move, it is his ultimate maximum damage, attacking all enemies for 300% damage. If Groot is an ally, attack all enemies for 360% damage. Instead, you're gaining 2 counters, and if you surround him with Star-Lord, that energy battery, that's going to feed him energy. And on that full BKT team, you're gonna get, if you're getting a lot of kills, this is a move that you could do over and over and over. So very, very strong move, and in the right scenario, you could use this a lot. His special, very, very good. This is probably what you're going to open with. You're going to attack the primary target, 340% damage. If Groot is an ally, you're going to gain assist from Groot, apply taunt to Groot. So this is what makes Groot kind of that off tank there. And you're getting a 70% chance to gain an assist from a random ally. So yeah, this is a very strong move. Potential to delete the enemy with this opening move right there. His basic is not too shabby either. You're attacking the primary target for 180% damage, 15% crit chance, and then you're attacking adjacent targets for 150% damage, 15% crit chance. So very, very good. And sometimes, depending on the scenario, you may want to open with this basic if you're really trying to get to those adjacent targets. And his passive is a very good one as well. Expert Tinkerer. Tech allies gain 5% extra damage, and on turn, 40% chance to apply offense up to 2 random allies. And yeah, if he applies that to the correct character, that could be some nightmare scenario for your opponents. Now, he is not the easiest farm. He is available in the raid store, and kind of like that war store, you need that good RNG for him to pop up. But he is in there, and the very new players, I would recommend starting farming Rocket, because he is an important piece of that Guardian team. Very important early game and mid-game team, guys, especially important part of that BKT as well, if you choose to run Thanos and Minerva in that scenario. So Rocket, very, very good character, guys.
Number 6.
And at number 6, he is Groot. Yes, Rocket's partner in crimes comes in a little bit above Rocket again this month because of the utility that he brings to the team. He does a lot of good. Let's go take a look at his kit to see exactly what he brings to this Guardians team or this BKT team, depending on how you're using him. There's a couple different ways you could go with his opening move. Normally, I use his special, which is the Overgrowth. You're going to get 2 death proof, and you're going to apply death proof and defense up to all allies, which is very, very important. And he's one of the off characters that I use sometimes in Ultimate 7, depending which, if I had good RNG and I could use my good team, or if I need to replace some characters, try not to use raid charges. So this is very, very important. That defense up really helps to mitigate some of the damage. And the good thing, he does not have that protector tag, so still works even if you are running Yo-Yo and that Black Bolt combo. Sometimes though, I am opening with Life Sports, healing all allies for 6,000 health. 5% of this max of this 5% of this character's max health. But the important thing here, I think, is clearing 2 negative effects from all allies, applying immunity to the lowest health Guardian for 2 turns. Now in Ultimate 7, I'm not running him with any Guardians, but yeah, this is an important move just for clearing some of those debuffs that the enemies can apply to you. His basic hits pretty hard, 340% damage, and he has some pretty good base damage as well. But not only that, he has a chance to revive, 20% chance to revive. And when he dies, he's going to apply death proof to Rocket Raccoon. He's going to apply defense up to all allies, and you're going to apply speed up, offense up, and counter to all Guardian allies. So this is a very important thing when he dies in that BKT team. Oh, and if he is attacked, he is going to apply slow to the attacker for 1 turn. So that's where that conjunction with Rocket special comes into play with that taunt that Groot can get. So very, very good character, and he's not that hard to farm. He's on Nexus 2-9.
Number 5.
Number 5 this month is my boy, the big bad Mordo, and he got a slight bump up this month because I've been using him a little more in some of these Greek raids. He has a very strong kit. All right, so Mordo does a lot of important things, not only just on that supernatural team, but on some other combo teams as well. And I think his big move, I'm going to start with his special here, Mesmerize. It is an opening turn stun, just like Graviton. Once you put that T4 in it, it is an opening turn stun. It also has a 50% chance to blind up to 3 targets and 50% chance to slow up to 2 targets. This is devastating. Only a 4-turn cooldown. So very, very strong. And this is something that you could use multiple times for battle, especially if you're using him in the raids like I do. His ultimate, Demons of Danak, attacking all targets for 240% damage. Heal block for 2 turns. This attack cannot miss. And this is why he is so annoying when you're facing Mordo on defense. That heal block just kind of screws up the rotation, some of that viability in the raids for some of these teams. They can't heal each other, and they don't survive as much. So Mordo is a very, very nuisance character that I face a lot in the raids. His basic, you're attacking the primary target for 220% damage, applying 2 random negative effects. That is just nasty. But, oh, if you thought that wasn't enough, it gets even better. On death of any character, heal self and the most injured supernatural ally for 10% of this character's max health. Devastating on a supernatural team because, yeah, any character, he's going to get some healing and he's going to heal some of that supernatural team. On death of a mystic, you're going to heal self and most injured supernatural ally for 15% of this character's max health. And you're granting 1 to 2 ability energy for self and that allies. So yeah, strong kit, and even stronger on that supernatural team. And if you want to farm Mordo, he is a very easy farm in that arena store. One of the more player-friendly farms.
Number 4.
There he is. He is popping onto this list. First time eligible, first time on this list as well. Very, very good character. Doesn't have as much value if you're not pairing him with Phoenix. So you definitely need to have Phoenix to really see the value. But I am seeing him all over the place. I see him a lot on Arena D. I don't use him too much on Arena Offense right now. but I'm using him in the Greek raids. I'm using him once in a while in Ultima 7 when I just throw in that X-Men team. So he gets a lot of usage from me. So let's go take a look at his kit and see what makes him so valuable, guys. So this is a very, very strong kit, and his opening move, you have a couple different options. Once in a while, it's appropriate to use a special. I think I'm using his ultimate a lot more on that opening turn, but it really depends on the battle. So his special, your altruism, you're gaining taunt, you're gaining counters, you're gaining deflects for self and X-Men allies, and you're gaining deflect for other allies. And if Phoenix is an ally, she is gaining a taunt for 2 turns as well, so helping her to die. So some really, really good synergy with Phoenix. His ultimate is what I end up using a lot more, enduring protection. You're increasing the duration of positive effects on self by 3, and you're gaining up to a maximum of 5. You're gaining 2 death proofs as well. You're gaining 2 charges as well, up to a maximum of 5. And we're going to talk about that with his passive, but his basic is Ring Dinger, attacking the primary target 340% damage and applying offense down for 2 turns. So very, very strong basic. All of his moves are pretty strong, but where he really sees his battle is in that full X-Men team with this passive, because he's going to help that whole team to survive and just make them a lot more beefier, as if they weren't beefy enough. All right, Steel Form on spawn if charged, gaining 1 ability energy for self, and then clearing charge. And if on spawn, if Phoenix is an ally, you're gaining defense up for 2 turns, applying defense up to all of the X-Men allies. And when a negative effect is applied to an X-Men, you're gaining a charge up to a maximum of 5. So this is what charge does, guys. When charged, attack that enemy for 100% damage plus 10% per charge. So yeah, does some very good stuff. When an X-Men ally drops below 50% health, gaining 1 taunt up to a maximum of 2. When in defense up, gaining 1,000% resistance. So very, very hard to clear away his taunt when he has that defense up. You're also gaining 15% max health for himself and X-Men allies. So yeah, just helps that whole X-Men team to survive, not just with his taunts, but with some of the things that he does with his passive and his special and his ultimate as well. So his whole kit is really, really made to help that X-Men team, gives him a lot of value. And like I said, he is a newly farmable character, not an easy early game farm, sort of towards the end of mid game. Early part of end game is when you can farm him. He's on Heroes 7, 9.
Number 3.
Ooh, and Vision is at number 3 this month. One of the best well-rounded kits in the game, but he is starting to fall off a little bit for me in terms of usage. His kit is still very good. I'm just not using him a lot. Previously, I was using him all over the place. In the raids, in arena, in war, in blitz. Pretty much every game mode I was using Vision. Not so much anymore. He has pretty much just been a blitz and war character for me. Not using him a lot in arena. I know some people still use him, especially if you don't have a lot of Black Bolts or Yo-Yo on the team. Still has a lot of value there, especially if you pair him with Hela. But for me personally, that is not a team that I run. And he is still on my backup in Ultima 7, but I'm finding that I'm using him a lot less. So did fall off the bit just because of usage, but he has a great kit. So let's go take a look at it. Opening move for Vision is going to be his special dive bomb, and you're attacking the primary target 230% damage. You're attacking the adjacent targets for 160% damage, and you're applying ability block to the primary target and 1 additional target. That ability block is what really makes him dangerous, because if you get the wrong opponent ability block, that could cripple their team. And if you're facing a Vision and he ability blocks the wrong member of your team, that could be crippling, especially if it is an Ultron on turn 1. His ultimate, Solar Beam, attacking all targets for 250% damage, but you are clearing 2 positive effects on each target. Oh my goodness. This one doesn't matter so much. I don't really use him with Scarlet Witch, but if Scarlet Witch is an ally, you're applying bleeds in addition to all that other stuff that's going on. His basic is pretty good as well. This one might be worth that T4 investment if you're using him a lot. You're attacking the primary target for 260% damage, chaining to 2 additional targets for 220% damage, applying defense down to each target, bleed for each tech enemy. Counterattack breaks this chain like it does with most chains. And his passive, so annoying, guys. Density manipulation, 20% extra dodge. It seems like a lot more when you're facing an enemy vision though, guys. 20%, excuse me, gaining defense up for 2 turns, which is very, very important on spawn. All tech allies gaining defense up for 2 turns as well, which is why once Ironheart comes out and he gets moved out of that power armor team, probably going to be using him in a tech team. Perhaps with Ultron, we will see. Now, he is not an easy early game farm as well. He's available on Mystic 3-9. Number 2 is Falcon, and last month I was using Falcon a lot, pretty much in every game mode. He was a staple on my arena team. He was a staple in my Ultimate 7 team, but that team has shifted around a little bit. So Falcon has fallen off a little bit. I still use him as one of my primary backups for Ultimate 7, but he is not on my primary Ultimate 7 team anymore. And since Black Bolt Yo-Yo is getting a lot more use out of me in Arena, he has fallen off of my Arena team as well. So Falcon fell off a little bit, but still a great kit, guys, and still a great character. Let's go take a look at his kit. And this is a turn-based game, as you know, so the speed of your team is very important, and Falcon does that so well with his opening move, Red Wing, changing the speed bar for self and all allies by plus 30%, plus 10% for each enemy with a positive effect, clearing stealth from all enemies. So it is possible, guys, to get over 100% speed bar with the right matchup with this move, Red Wing. So important. Strafing Run is his big AoE attack, attacking all enemies, 190% damage plus 50% piercing for each positive effect on an enemy. Bonus attack that enemy for 80% damage plus 50% piercing. And on War Offense, 50% piercing to primary and secondary targets. So yeah, War Offense, he is going to be very important, especially once Ironheart comes out. Kind of a better version of Vision on that team. His basic is pretty good as well. Dual SMGs attacking the primary target, 230% damage. If the primary target has positive effects, bonus attack for 120% damage in War, and he really shines in War, guys. If a target has any positive effects, bonus attack again for 120% damage. And his passive is very good. He adds a lot to this whole power armor team, guys. Gaining a 25% block chance, 5% block chance per power armor ally, 10% max health, and 10% block chance. So does a lot of good things, especially in that power armor team. And it looks like that power armor team will be a counter to these Asgardians. That heavy Asgardian defense on War, and Falcon is a key part of that team. And he's available on Nexus 7-3, guys.
Number 1.
And coming at number 1 is a character that I'm using every single day, Scientist Supreme. My girl, so valuable in that full aim team and so valuable in my primary Ultimate 7 team. And if you're wondering what I'm using every single day in Ultimate 7 as my primary team, Ultron, Black Bolt, Yo-Yo, Scientist Supreme, and our girl, the legendary Shuri. And let's go take a look at Scientist Supreme's kit to see why she is so valuable. So obviously she holds a lot of value in that full aim team, but also very valuable for Ultimate 7 for me. I use her all the time. This combo, her ultimate retro vaccination, healing all allies, 3,500 health, 15% of this character's max health, 2 to 3 random negative effects to all non-aim allies and enemies for 2 turns. This is the big screw you move. You're applying it to the enemies, but you're also applying it to yourself. But hopefully most of the time, you're not applying speed down to yourself, and hopefully you're applying offense down to the enemies. You're also getting 50% extra focus for each aim ally in this tag. So not really applicable for Ultimate 7 for me, but on a full aim team, oh, heck yeah. Field trials, you're gonna flip those negative effects. So hopefully this is why you're hopefully not getting that speed down on your ally, so she can flip these as quick as possible. And any bleeds or anything the enemy does to you, hopefully you're flipping these as well. I just put the T4 into this field trials, flipping 4 negative effects into positive effects for all of these allies. You're applying regeneration to self and all aim allies for 2 turns. You're increasing the positive duration on effects for self and aim allies by 1 up to a maximum of 3. So very important part of that aim team, but very important part of making sure that you are not debuffed when you are in Ultimate 7. Her basic is pretty good as well. You're attacking the primary target, 240% damage, but the more important thing to me is applying 2 random negative effects to the primary target. And this is why I think she is so valuable, especially on the team that I use, Mad Scientist. on spawn, change speed bar by 10% plus 10% of aim allies. But if we keep moving on turn, 25% chance to revive an ally with 20% max health. So if my Scientist Supreme happens to die, I got some bad RNG on that node, well, I restart the whole node because she is so valuable because of this. If one of my other characters dies, Scientist Supreme is still alive, I still have a chance to not spend any cores, not spend any refreshes on that node. Aim allies revive for 30% max health instead. On turn, grant 1 to 2 ability energy for aim allies with a negative effect. So awesome on that aim team, but also awesome on that Ultimate 7 team that I mentioned earlier. And she is available on Cosmic 2.9. So there it is, guys. That is my list for top 10 characters, free-to-play characters, March of 2020. Do you agree with this list? Does your users support this kind of list? If not, let me know in the comments. Let me know your list. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, share this with all your friends, subscribe to the channel because at least 4 videos a week on this channel, and we do this top 10 list every single month and a lot more content as well. I will see you guys next time. Make sure you check out some of the links down below and give me a Hulk fist bump before you go. ValleyFlyin out.